Welcome back to another episode of the RX Debrief, everyone. Your unfiltered platform for everything fitness. Team, how we been this week?
Bro, so good. So good. We made it to Friday. We're here now. Got another epic guest coming on. How are you this morning, bro?
Yeah, I'm all right, too. I'm good. I'm not actually feeling that bad. Your chesticles are pretty sore, aren't they, from training?
Oh, my chesticles are very sore. My breastises.
That's what happens when you train chest 3 times in a row.
Yeah, we've done a lot of bench press recently, but hey.
The breastises have been growing, have they?
Yeah, got to grow the breasts. So that's all good.
What did you have for breakfast today?
I just went the old classic smoothie, protein and oats, coffee, nice and simple.
Nice.
Kenyon, what did you have, bro?
Bro, I've been hitting up a new one. I've discovered how to make coconut wraps. And so that's been like my go-to.
I've seen this on your Insta.
It's been my go-to every day. So I've been making coconut wraps and just been wrapping. If I have meat already cooked, I'll just have it with meat, or I'll just have it again with eggs.
What's
6 eggs.
What's the recipe? Real quickly, the recipe for coconut wraps.
All right, easy as 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 cup of coconut flour, and 8 egg whites. And that's it, done. And then it's like, the macros are ridiculous. They're like 3 grams of fat. I think it's about 8 or 9 grams of carbs, and then about 30 grams of protein. And you get about 4 reps out of there. So
you might have to post that one up on our story, bro.
It's a key.
Definitely. Coconut wraps.
Find out more at Kenyon Hippie.
Definitely.
Oh, plug number one.
Plug number one.
That is the hack. Anything exciting that's happened for you this week, bro? Besides training your breastises?
Apart from the breastises, we put up a TV in the gym,
Bro.
which is pretty cool.
Yes. You are the handyman. Like I've said on other episodes, this guy is a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Give him anything, and he just put a TV on the wall.
So a TV with the shittiest little level, but hey, we got it done.
Yeah.
Looks all right.
Yeah.
Does the job.
What about you, Mo? What have you been up to?
This week, man, been kind of excited and prepping for the show. So just building content, training, trying to stay on my game.
Yep.
Nah. Just just doing me,
Just doing me.
doing the best version of me. But we'll just get straight into it. I'm super excited for this episode to have our first international guest who calls NZ home. I'd consider this woman as an entrepreneur of the fitness game, and she is the creator of the programming tool called ALTR Project, which coaches and gyms use to program workouts like us here at 808. I'm sure you guys have used that. Yeah.
Very familiar.
And so this is the tool that most gyms use. And yes, the wahine who had created it is on our show today. So let's welcome AIMEE TAWHAI.
Clap, clap, clap.
What up, sis?
Hey, Amy, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How you going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Thank you again for joining us from Melbourne on your busy Friday morning to join us for an episode on the RX Debrief. I'm super excited to have you, sis. So first things first, though, as we were just chatting, I just asked the boys what they had for breakfast. What did you have for breakfast?
My first special, which is toast, peanut butter, banana, strawberries, maple syrup, cinnamon. Every morning.
That sounds like gourmet toast.
Shit, I want a bit of that. Hey, I want a bit of that in my life.
That's good.
Thinking about it.
We might have to up our toast game.
Yeah.
The AIMEE TAWHAI version.
So good.
Yeah, the Amy TAWHAI version.
No, so thanks for coming again, joining us on the show. Again, you're the creator of ALTR Project. Just give us our viewers a backstory of where you're from. You know, you're from Aotearoa. Share us with that.
Yeah, so I'm from Auckland, North Shore. Moved to Melbourne about 2 years ago. Just only meant to come over here for a year.
Yeah.
But decided to open up a gym and basically call it my home now. But yeah, like it's so good growing up in New Zealand. Spent a lot of time out in the country in Taranaki. Down to Taupo with family, and yeah, I love coming back and seeing everyone, seeing you guys. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And so obviously you're a CrossFit athlete as well. Owner of CrossFit Project Bayside.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about. Let's go into AIMEE's, training regime and what she does. Like,
What does a day in the life look like?
That's what I'm trying to
Look like
say.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I guess ISO's made me realize that I was messing around a lot in training because I feel super fit now and I'm only doing an hour a day. So
Well, me and
I
Levi have done one of your sessions, and it just
Out the gate.
like I couldn't walk for about 3 days. I was like, how did it?
Nah,
Right?
we used to train like a couple times a day, maybe an hour a session. You come along and we do like a 4-hour session. Absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
Don't want to walk for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, like training used to be, we do three or so hours a day, especially in the lead up to the games. Which is good, but there's only so long you can kind of maintain that.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
That level, right?
Yeah, and also just kind of, or what I noticed anyway, is when I open up a gym, you have a lot of people that you always have to talk to, and you're always doing things. So the amount of times that you warm up, start training, and then you cool down, and and then you warm up again, start training, and then you cool down. So how I used to train is totally different to how I train now. Now it's more just intensity over volume. Push hard in anything that you do, and just make it hurt, and just try and get more in a session.
Yeah, so much better.
Good.
That's awesome.
And was it just what was it? Is this because of lockdown? You kind of made you realize this, or have you kind of started implementing this kind of training style?
Before lockdown, just because now I've got ALTR, I've got the business, there's a lot of stuff on my plate. I'm somebody who loves training with people, so I love doing classes. I love that's what gets me going, is the atmosphere of people. So whenever I can, I'll jump into a class, and I'd way prefer to do that than train by myself. And always get pushed so much more. So I'm just kind of just doing what I enjoy and doing that, and I love it. So
that's me.
Yeah, we can definitely relate. I mean, I remember I used to train by myself, and you never push as hard
No
when
way.
you're by yourself, because no one's watching, and you could just be like, you know what, I'll just shave a couple of reps off.
Yeah.
No one will know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
and that's the intensity isn't there. When somebody's there and they're pushing hard, you're like, well, I've got to push hard.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
not. So
totally. You see people, coming from their 10 hour working day, and then they're coming to the gym, and then they're still doing a class. You're kind of that's pretty motivating to me now. That's what motivates me.
Nah, that's epic.
Yep.
Oh well, let's head into how did you create ALTR? How did you come up with the concept of an ALTR?
Yeah. All right. Well, so my background is statistics. So that was my undergrad degree, was mathematics and statistics. And that's kind of what I did pre-building ALTR. So I had a really good job working at High Performance Sport New Zealand, which is our governing body for Olympic athletes. And I basically did the statistical analysis behind cost of investment for medal outcome. So that's kind of what I did pre-building ALTR, which was a great job, and I loved it. But I've always had that kind of entrepreneurial thing in me. Since I was young, I've always just done stuff, and I just love being different, I guess. Yeah. And just the thought of working in a corporate job for someone else just scared the shit out of me. That's just what I was going to do.
Totally relatable.
Yeah. So I've built a couple of things before building ALTR. There was, what did I call it? I forgot what I called it, but I tried to build this other app and a couple other businesses, which didn't really, nothing really came of it. But with ALTR, it was just more personally, I was starting to train a lot more. And as an individual athlete, we'd tried so many different programs, but there was nothing that was really unique to me. So, it could be injury, it could be a weakness. There was none of that. And that's where my statistical side kind of came into play, thinking about how I could automate this and put it into an actual system. So that's kind of how it started. And I just started playing around in Excel using VBA code, which I don't know if anyone knows.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. And so I started building it. It's quite funny looking back at the prototype now, because I was so paranoid that someone would steal my idea, because nobody's automated programming before, that I masked everything as a food diary. So gymnastics was carbs and conditioning.
Oh, true.
So you have a look at it, and it's completely different. So yeah, so I built that in Excel just to see if the logic and all of that stuff would work, and it did. And then I hired a developer to actually code it for me. But I think that was a really important part, was that I knew how the back end worked and I knew how the rules and the logic worked to give to someone. I think if you don't know that, then it's going to cost you a lot of money, or you're not going to be able to have control over the product. So being like a user and also knowing all of the algorithms and logic was really cool. I don't think you wouldn't have been able to do it without having the knowledge of both.
That's a hack.
It's so like it's so like the simple things that like an outsider sees, like just like clicking something to make an action happen. Like no one realizes how hard it is to just make that happen. Like I was like, man, I can't believe she's done this all by herself. This is crazy.
What challenges have you faced in the process of, like you just said, you used to mask it and you were so scared that people were taking your idea or whatever. What were some of the challenges you faced getting you through all of these processes?
I mean, there was definitely a lot along the way. A big one was probably, although like I had the, like I knew all the algorithms and stuff, I didn't know much about coding, and so about actually hiring a software developer, all of that type of stuff that goes with it. You're kind of, unless you go through a company, which is, I just couldn't afford it because I fully bootstrapped ALTR myself. Everything has been paid personally. Like I've taken outside investment. So unless you go through a company where you have like that salesperson who kind of puts it into layman's terms for you, you're just trying to guess it along, the whole way. And there's a lot of mistakes and a lot of things that I did. But
those are all lessons though, eh?
So have you learned the coding side of things for it as well?
No, I didn't learn the coding side. I tried, and it took me about 2 weeks to build like a login page. So
wow.
So just gave it to professionals, and I've gone through numerous developers because you can't. It's hard if you don't know the code to then go through and check things, and it takes a long process to actually find good software developers. And when you have good ones, you have to keep a hold of them.
Yeah, definitely.
That was
where's the name come from? Like, what does ALTR project mean, or where does it come from?
So it stands for algorized training. So algorithm training.
Where
it came from. Which was
that is gangster. I did not know that. I didn't even think to ask you that, but that is gangster.
Yeah. So when you were sort of starting ALTR project, and you were in your job, were you doing both at the same time? Were you kind of like hustling, like doing your 8-hour job and then spending 2 hours, 3 hours a night trying to get this up and running? Is that kind of what was happening?
It was like the craziest time, because I was I'd actually gotten my postgraduate degree without finishing my degree. So I also had 2 papers. So I was finishing that, and we were training for the CrossFit Games. We'd just made that. And then building ALTR as well. So my life was basically, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have my meetings with my developer throughout the whole day. So I'd wake up, have a meeting, check over his work in the morning, drive to the gym. And while I was driving, I'd be listening to like software podcasts or whatever. Just like every second has to be used. Go to work, any lunch break that I had, I'd be doing demo calls with people, or I'd be building a system, go to training, and even through training, I'd be on the phone to like my developer, because he'd start working on it outside of his job, and then go home and basically work till, 11 midnight, and then do it all over again. And weekends were spent like that too.
Fuck, I love that stuff. I love that.
Do you know what?
I love those stories.
The part that I love about this though is that, this is all off your back. You've used all your resources. You've created a product, a tool for our community, because we use it, and for people to get gains, all off the back of like that backstory of that is, bro, that's some hustle. Like, we think we're hustling, that's hustling, like straight up.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And so how would you say that? Obviously, would you say that when you left your job that it really took off, or kind of did it start taking? When was the point where ALTR started really to take off for you?
Probably more coming over to Australia, and kind of building a name here is when it kind of took off. You know, it's funny, like you hear those sayings of like, you know, an overnight success takes 10 years. And that's so true. Like you're just kind of always working on it, and then small things will happen, and then, you know, like what you think is going to make it really big won't necessarily be the thing. And then something else happens and you're like, oh, I didn't even think that would, you know, make it explode how it did. So there was something like, I've always been real, I don't know, kind of like I didn't really talk about it a lot when I first built it, and I didn't put my name out there or say that it was me who built it, because I'm like, oh, well, who am I to have that? And so when I kind of let that go and actually talked about it a lot more and put it out there, that's when it kind of took off. I thought that we'd need I thought we'd need more of like that international or high level athletes to get it going. But actually people want to know that, you know, you have good customer support, who it's built by, support your locals. And that's been really cool, because I really love that.
That's epic.
What's the like difference between, I mean, there's loads of, I guess, programming type apps and stuff out there. What's the difference between like ALTR and other ones that are on the market or whatever?
So ALTR is the first thing to automate programming. So there's nothing out there that actually does, you know, what we do in terms of the simplistic programming. So there's nothing that actually does, you know, so ALTR will look at your full week of programming if you use like the drag and drop section, and it will use algorithms and logic in the back end to make sure you're not overusing movements, duplicating body parts and stuff like that. So that's kind of the first thing. So it's mainly the programming side that we do really well, or that we actually, there's basically no tool that does programming how we do it. And then all the other things like the you know, the app and the managing your clients and all the billing, that's kind of come afterwards. We've almost built it backwards. So we've like programming really well and then gone backwards to do all of the admin and other side that other, you know, systems already have.
Epic.
It is epic. It's like, because as you're saying, like how the whole overnight success thing, like I've really noticed it over the last, since I've been back in New Zealand, maybe the last year. Like I've seen it everywhere. But I actually, when I was PTing, I used to PT at Tomfit about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and that's when I very first saw it. Like beta or something. And I remember I got a membership on it, and I was playing with it, and I was like, this is such a good idea. Like just drag and drop. Like I want to do a strength piece, boom, and then it just generates a strength piece for me. Like just things I was like, man, that is such a good idea. I reckon this is going to do really well. And then, hello, 4 years later.
we're talking to the crowd.
I was
That's
like, man,
insane.
this is such a good idea. But talk to us. So with ALTR Project, I know you've got a couple of really, like, you've got some like games athletes, you and the US and stuff on your like, who? Yeah, who?
Yeah, so we had Jacob doing his Midwest Made, Jacob Hepner, which is pretty cool.
Did you get to talk to him?
Pardon?
Are you like mates?
He's
He's not bad.
But I dealt with his head coach Alex, so he does all the programming for him, and that was quite cool because before we launched the so what was it, October I think it was, when we launched the new dashboard and the new way of how all the algorithms and stuff worked. And so I worked closely with him to make it a bit more suitable for coaches, not so much, not just affiliate owners, but for coaches who actually, program kind of longer pieces, like double day sessions and that type of stuff, so that you can run athlete programs through. So someone like Callum, who you guys have had on here from Renegade, someone like him can use it as well. And then recently we had Cara Saunders. She uses it for CODA. So her and Matt are great, and that was really cool. We headed to Brisbane for Torian and got to chat with them and see it all in use at COVA. And Cara's like the kind of the perfect person for ALTR, because when she reached out to me, and when we were first chatting, she was basically saying all of the reasons behind like all of the problems that she has programming for COVA, and everything she was saying, I was like, this is exactly why I built ALTR. You know, you don't outsource your programming, because you know your community better than anyone else. You know, when you see your members, they just look a bit fatigued and you're like, okay, we need to do a deload, or we need to do some partner workouts, or, you know, limitation of equipment, or whatever it is. So if you outsource your programming, you're spending so much money on something that you end up just going through and changing anyway.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And then for her, like, her members love when she programs. They know when she's programmed and when she hasn't, because she's got that certain flair to, you know, or that certain style to how she programs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was really good having a chat with her, because everything she said was why we built it. And yeah, she loves the system, so she's been using it, and it's really good to get feedback from somebody who is so, you know, well known and is an amazing programmer, because she's been doing this for 9-10 years, and she runs a really successful gym.
No, that's epic.
Yeah. And then I'm in with more people now as well, because, you know, as we grow, more people get interested, more people kind of want to do an athlete program. So that's exciting. So we should have some cool new people soon as well.
Yeah,
Epic.
awesome. That's cool.
Epic.
That's so cool.
My next question is, where do you see the future of ALTR? Like, is it just CrossFit based, or is it, you know, I was thinking, could it go into schools? Would that be an option? Could that be, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing with ALTR, like, I built it for CrossFit because that's what I knew. That's how I know, you know, how to program and how to you know, do everything with the workouts and the backing. So we have a massive database of workouts. But the skeleton of it can be used in any discipline. And that's what's really cool about it. It could be used in the Globo gym. It could be used in the F45. It could be used in triathletes. And I have people who program different stuff already. And they just kind of use the system as their, you know, their base. And they don't necessarily use all of the workouts there, but they have different things that they program for. But my big thing is to link up with a billing system. You know, I do believe that you should do something really well and stick with your niche. And also, you know, I've been tossing up between building my own thing or linking up with somebody who's already established. I've been thinking about that for a while. So that's my next stage, is to actually go with, link up with a billing company, so that we kind of become the all-in-one tool. So there's seamless in between, you know, you billing your clients, email marketing, websites, programming, all of that in one.
That's awesome, man. What awesome goal.
So cool.
You guys, I'm just saying now.
That's an amazing concept as well, what you've got. Like, just creating that all-in-one, super easy for anyone to use.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
amazing.
PT coaches will just think this is an absolute hack.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Absolutely.
we just witnessed it, guys, and how many years this is going to be it? Like the all-in-one tool.
That's awesome.
For everyone.
What's
An app on everyone's phone.
Question I want to ask is, so during the time when you were kind of had all this stuff going on, like you said you're kind of studying, training, trying to build this, like were there times that you wanted to give up? And if there were, like, what kind of pushed you on? What stopped you from thinking that way?
I watched a lot of Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Awesome.
Genuinely, like, that was legit playing in the background for like 2 years. It was just Shark Tank, and I'd get all emotional. It'd be like, okay, no, you just gotta keep on hustling. I don't know. I never really thought of giving up. Like, it didn't really cross my mind. It just wasn't a thing that would happen. So I can't really help with that answer.
That's all right.
That's like the OG hustle style. Pull your pants up, Kenyon. Just get on with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, Shark Tank's a pretty ruthless show.
Giving up ain't a new vocabulary.
Nah, no way.
No, that's epic.
Yeah.
How do you manage your work-life train balance? You know, with all of this going on, what's your key?
Sleep. I don't know. It's opening up the gym as well was quite like a stressful period. As you can imagine, and then having this as well. And like with anything, I think you just have to research things and try different stuff and see what kind of works. Like there's definitely, you know, there's been stages where like sleep has been hard because you just yeah, like most of the clients of ALTR from overseas. So I'm getting messages all the time. And when I first started, like I was the only customer service, like it was just me basically behind the system. So I was the only customer service person, scheduling demo calls at like 3 a.m, doing all of that type of stuff. So hiring people and getting help, which is something I've done for a very long time. I think it's that control thing that you have as an entrepreneur or whatever I'm wired.
Like putting your baby in someone's
else's
hands.
And if you want to
something
done
you've
right, you
made.
do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's that thing.
Yeah. And like that's all very good, and like you can do that in the beginning, but you'll burn out if you don't get some help. So hiring good people was probably the best thing that I ever did. And giving off some workload, and also just focusing on the things that will actually get you to the next step rather than you doing the smaller tasks that someone else can do. Which actually helped me sleep better, which is good. But listening to podcasts and stuff like that, like there's a podcast, How I Built This, which I just love. I think it's like anyone who wants to start a business or just listen to that podcast. It's just the coolest stories from really famous, Airbnb and Instagram. And you just hear about the problems that they had and how they overcome it and realize, you're not the only one who's dealing with different things.
Yeah.
And that's also, what was it called?
How I Built This.
How I Built This.
There you go.
Plugged it.
In terms of like the gym side of things, how did all that go through this COVID? You guys get through all that all good and managed it?
Yeah. So, I mean, the way I view everything happens for a reason, or you always got to think of something positive. So, for the gym, like, did all these cool changes, built a sweet wooden wall. So like we're lucky we have a really good community. I know most gyms, that's what you kind of, that's what's so important. And if anything, this has just reinforced how good the community is that we have.
That's awesome.
We basically, as soon as it was announced, we just lent out all of our gear to everybody. So the gym's, completely bare. Just the typical stuff, run Zoom classes, really good home programming. I mean, it's been 8 weeks and like the programming's so hard. It's you literally have one dumbbell, there's no excuse. Like if anything, it's just opened up.
Definitely.
Hard out.
Which is really cool. And so we should be opened in like June the 20th, the 22nd, which will be cool.
You are
So
like a
still
month
got
away.
like another month. 3 weeks.
Which is a bit hard, but everyone's just frothing to get back. Which
So
again,
are you fully like the gym's not open at all at the moment?
Not at all. Like we don't like coaches can train here, but we haven't trained here once. Like we're just started, and everybody trains in the garage, and that's kind of that's
the new norm, eh?
New norm.
Crazy.
Yep.
Wow.
What's and in terms, and for you specifically, are you going to be competing? You got any plans to compete in the future in any events or anything? Hopefully, if this kind of opens up a bit more.
Yeah. Well, last weekend we were meant to be at Down Under. And then
You qualified for that, eh?
Yeah, and then the week before, we're meant to be in China at the Asia Champs, which is a really cool comp. But yeah, I'll probably do that next year. I mean, I love competing, and it's it's fun, but it's not the main goal anymore. So
Yeah. Has that kind of changed? Would you say that's changed a lot over the years? Like now that you've got these 2 businesses and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. And just the qualifications for how to get, back to the games. Like, I feel like I can tick that off and
been there, done that. Absolutely.
Which I've been there. Too useless. I'd rather stay home.
But yeah, I love it. So I'll just do it as long as I'm, not broken, and just do local comps and just support the gym. We've got a really good a little group here, like competitors who, want to do like their first sanctionals and stuff. So try and support them, maybe go on a team or something.
Have you ever thought of doing your own kind of competition, like creating your own competition?
Nah.
Too much on the plate.
Too much work. Got better things to do.
We did we had Bayside Brawl last year, which was just like a peers comp at the gym, which was awesome. But over here, it's council permits and all that type of stuff.
Really?
Loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
I guess it's all health and safety and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I want to know as well is, what would you say, because you've been on this hustle game, the entrepreneur game, what would be some advice that you would give someone starting out, trying to just get that hustle on? What would be the thing, as well as listening to that podcast, what would you say?
Just put yourself out there and talk to people about it. And I wasted a lot of time by not talking to people. Like, I should have been chatting to gym owners and coaches right from the beginning, rather than trying to build this amazing product personally, but not like getting it out there. That's definitely the biggest thing. If no one knows about your product, it doesn't matter how good it is. No one knows. So yeah, just starting sooner than you think. Like, what is it? There's that quote, like, if you're not embarrassed by your prototype, then you've waited too long. And I think that's so true. There's always going to be issues, and there's always going to be things that are kind of gone that aren't perfect. And if you're a perfectionist, then you'll just self-sabotage your product before.
Was that like a confidence thing of not getting your name out there? Like, were you not confident, or didn't like 100% believe in the product or something like that, or
were you scared that someone was going to steal it?
I believed in the product 100%. But I didn't maybe believe in the like I wasn't a coach. I didn't own a gym. I didn't have a big name in competing. So I guess it was more in my head, this person who go around and tell coaches and gym owners that they can program better with this tool. You know what I mean? Like, it's
it was like uncomfortable conversations that I can relate to that.
Where she's coming. I totally get where she's coming from.
Nah, that's me.
All right. Some quick fast.
Yeah, we've got to do our little 200-meter row.
No.
After this.
Oh, okay.
After this.
These guys getting too excited. Sorry. I've got a quick fire round. You just answer best as you can. Okay, ready? Coming at you. Would you rather Aussie or New Zealand?
New Zealand.
Would you rather be a superhero or a princess?
Superhero.
Would you rather barbell workouts or dumbbell workouts?
Or barbell pre-ISO?
Champagne or red wine?
Champagne.
Whitakers or Cadbury?
Whitakers.
Fran or Cindy?
Fran.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Would you rather the Airdyne or the rower?
Or rower.
Would you rather be a lion or a wolf?
Lion.
Yeah.
I'd say you got all of those correct. Well done.
That was epic.
That was epic. Hey, thank you, Amy, for coming on to our show. I've actually got a lot out of this because me and especially the bro here, Levi, we're all kind of trying to do our own thing and get our hustle on as well. So I know you've inspired me anyway.
And me too, definitely.
Definitely.
So keep grinding.
Definitely.
Man, I've got to stay until 3 a.m. now. Let's speak to Amy. All right. Thank you for coming on our show. And hopefully when you're allowed to travel again, we can see you again. Come visit.
I'll be over there as soon as the
Find you
borders
if you want to see your stuff and
jump
whatnot.
on.
Where can people find you?
Me or the system?
Yeah.
Me? AIMEE TAWHAI on Instagram, I guess.
If they want to find like ALTR and all that kind of stuff.
So it's all on there. And we've got a YouTube, and I've got a YouTube video of how we built how we built the gym in 9 days as well. Because
awesome.
9 days. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, 9 days. Well done. That's it.
No, that's epic. Hey, girl, thank you so much, hey. You have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Bro, that was amazing.
Bro, we got to get our hustling skills up.
I want to build a gym in 9 days.
That was insane.
She was insane. She is, I'm real inspired by and pumped by what she says.
Working full time, doing demo calls.
Man. Getting her hustle on. But anyway, we've got our challenge now. We usually have it halfway through our show, but today we're going to have it right at the end, and we're going to play paper scissors rock. All right, the loser or winner, depending on how you think of it. If you want extra gains, is going to do a 200-meter row for time, only using their arms. All right, cool. So,
you guys have better not have set me up.
Yeah,
No.
Honestly.
Right. Paper, scissors. Paper, scissors, rock. There we go. There it is. No, so
That was a setup.
It wasn't a setup. That was legit not a setup.
My back is so soft.
Straight up.
so that's us, team RX Debrief. We will see you next time. Watch Mo suffer.
Here we go.
Out.
Come on, Mo.
What was it,
No, no legs, man.
No legs.
No, put your legs in. Put your legs in.
Put your feet up. And then just arms.
Just arms.
Yeah, go.
There you go.
Here we go. Here we go.